Welcome to Season 2 of the Aviators South Africa podcast, Aviation Sunday, Ep.5. My name is Comair and I'm the host on the show with Warwick. Today on the show we'll be joined by our fellow aviation enthusiasts Devarshan and Thomas.
In this episode we're going to be talking about airline ticket prices post-COVID-19, British Airways A380 situation, South African airports open again, and the final farewell to Delta's MD-88s and MD-90s. Enjoy the podcast.
This is the Aviators South Africa. This episode is in association with African Pilot magazine. Subscribe to Africa's finest aviation magazine today. For more information, go to www.africanpilot.co.za. Producing this content takes a lot of time and effort. Therefore, why don't you become a member of our channel through Buy Me a Coffee or on our website? This will assist us financially and allow us to continue providing quality aviation content to South Africa and beyond. As a member of our channel, you will receive members-only aviation tech content reviews, get early YouTube videos and podcasts, and even get featured on our podcast and YouTube episodes. To do this, click on the links in the description. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link and there's a link in our website. If you click on the link to our website, you will get a 10-day free trial and then you can decide whether you'd like to continue. Alternatively, just buy us a coffee on the link below. $5 a coffee. Thank you for supporting us. Enjoy the episode.
This is one of the questions that we are all asking ourselves as we are in lockdown. Are airline ticket prices likely to drop or rise after the COVID-19 lockdown and regulations ease all over the world? Right now, airlines are selling bargain air tickets to lure us back into the sky.
At this time during COVID-19, the world is pretty much split into two groups. Those who want to move around the world and those who do not. Some people, like us, are the ones who are excited to start purchasing air tickets again and move around the world.
The chances of air prices dropping are reasonably high, and the reason for this is that airlines are trying to lure us back to air travel. This is good for the aviation industry just to get back and start it again until it can run on its own without lower fare prices. So, what does everybody think about the current air travel situation? Warwick?
Myself, I think that the air travel tickets quite likely will stay low for an extended period of time to keep luring people back into the sky until the aviation industry has recovered reasonably well.
I do agree with you. And one thing Sorry, Tom, go for it.
Well, I mean, if you think keeping the air prices so low for an extended period of time could actually hurt the aviation industry in the way that, you can't actually sustain, because you need a lot of money to sustain all the airplanes and stuff. So, I mean, if you keep the air prices down for so long, it could actually hurt, the aviation industry.
It's possible. And I think airlines are actually making the most of airports that are open. So we are covering the story at the moment, but South African airports are now open for business, some of the major hubs. And so SAFair has put discounts, but what they've done is they've actually, in this weird time, they've introduced a brand new route. And the route was actually introduced as of today on the 12th of June, and it's from Lanseria to Durban. So I think this is another way, they're opening up to other people in the market. But it will definitely be interesting to see how this does run in the future.
Sadly, Delta Airlines has retired its fleet of MD-88 and MD-90 aircraft, affectionately known as the Barking Dog.
Delta Airlines are based in Atlanta, Georgia. They are one of the USA's 3 major airlines.
Delta is the airline operating the MD-88 and MD-90 aircraft. These aircraft went for their last flights as of 10 days ago. As time goes by, and especially now during COVID-19, airlines have been retiring older aircraft types such as the narrow-body McDonnell Douglas series.
Delta Airlines have placed an awful lot of thought into the final flights of the MD-88 and the MD-90. Indeed, the airline has scheduled them into flights with unique flight numbers just for this occasion.
Both aircraft will arrive in Atlanta this morning, having carried more than 750 million passengers during their lifespan. The aircraft are being retired ahead of Delta's original plan due to the current aviation crisis.
We'll have to wait and see whether they will replace these aircraft in the future.
So, what does everybody think about the barking dog?
I think it's definitely a reasonable move from Delta Airlines. It's quite sad to see the final fleet of these aircraft go, but it's definitely a step for Delta, and it will benefit them because of all the cost saving and because the aircraft, for what they're worth, they've got much higher maintenance costs.
I agree. And there's definitely replacement fleet that will replace the MD-88 and MD-90 aircraft. And currently, we've got quite a lot of orders from Delta. You know, we have the A350s, A330s, and the A321neo and the A220. Now, the A220, I think, is quite a good plane for Delta. And we talked about the A220 for JetBlue a few episodes back, and I think it's really going to benefit Delta in terms of cost saving. And then obviously the CRJ 900s. And I think these will all assist Delta in continuing their regional service. What do you think, Tom and Devarshan?
I mean, there's nothing I can really say extra. I mean, you've kind of hit on all the points I was going to mention, but yeah, so I mean, like you said it.
And Devarshan, do you think these aircraft are going to be a nice fit for Delta?
It depends how Delta uses them. Like, if they use it for cargo, I guess it'll be okay. And for passengers, it would be more preferable for passengers because they are quite big planes.
But it also depends, right, about how the aviation industry shapes up. And although we're opening up airports, etc., it's just we don't know what the future holds. And I suspect a lot of people are going to go back to trains and driving as those methods of transport, because even though it's not as efficient as air travel, I think they're safer that way. So it's really a waiting game. But it's such a shame to see these wonderful aircraft retired.
Express 866, contact approach 19050.
That's a Boeing 5172. We are descending flight level 70 on course to Sierra Papa Lima.
Ocean 37 Yankee, descend flight level 100. After RT proceed to Sierra Papa Yankee.
We are now going to be talking about the British Airways A380. Due to the COVID-19 outbreak, presently British Airways does not have any of its A380 fleet at the airline's hub at London Heathrow Airport.
This comes as quite a shock, considering that last week we discussed how British Airways was planning on opening up their flights to passengers again in the coming weeks. However, it seems there's still virtually no demand for this yet.
For the meantime, though, British Airways has stored its A380 fleet at Châteauroux Airport in France. Even though they may be starting to open for passenger travel, it looks like British Airways are nowhere near ready to be operating their full A380 fleet in the near future.
While the passenger market is a waiting game, the cargo industry is thriving. Presently, British Airways World Cargo and IAG Cargo are being kept busy.
After being in lockdown for more than 80 days, South Africa is ready to receive passengers at their airports again, but only for business under strict circumstances. The Airports Company South Africa, or ACSA, has issued that the 4 major hubs are ready to receive passengers.
Johannesburg's Tambo International Airport, Cape Town's International Airport, Durban's King Shark International Airport, and Johannesburg's Lanseria Airport are all going to be operating during South Africa's Alert Level 3 lockdown.
Passengers will have to prove that they are traveling for business to be allowed on one of these flights. They will have to fill out a document with their business information.
Currently, the only airlines which are flying are FlySafair and Comair. It is possible that SAA will also be flying, but this seems unlikely. As for British Airways, operated by Comair and Kaluda.com, these airlines are only expected to be operating from October at the earliest due to voluntary business rescue.
The SA government has said that airlines can fly the plane at full capacity as there are special air filters on board aircraft. However, the airlines must leave the last 2 rows free in case there's a suspected COVID-19 case on board, in which case they will have to be isolated in those rows.
There is talk that you may be allowed to fly out of the country for business, to study abroad, or for residence. However, all of this could come to an end if the country or specific provinces move to a higher alert level lockdown. We'll have to wait and see. So, what does everybody think about the new normal of air travel for the time being? Thomas?
So, to be honest, for me, I think it's probably going to work fine. I mean, there are a few holes in how it works, but to get it perfect is like really hard. It's like practically impossible. There's no way to do it perfectly. So the way they've gone with, I think it's reasonable. I think it could work.
Okay, and Warwick, what do you think about it?
I definitely think that it will work. As Tom said, there are a few gaps and holes, but they'll hopefully find that out over the time while it's in operation.
I do agree with both of you, but the thing is, right, there are some places where it's clever. And look, getting in COVID-19 in a plane is only going to happen, right? It's a small environment. There's only so much that you can space out. But what I do think is a bit weird, if the plane is at full capacity, hear me out here, and that means it goes all the way to the last 2 rows. What is 2 rows going to do to stop you getting infected when you've already been in contact with that person? Not much, right?
Yep.
Another point.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Exactly. Go for it, Devarshan.
Another point is that, let's say there's more than 12 people that get sick on the plane. Then there's only 2 rows that's available. Then what?
Then what's going to happen? And my issue, the thing is, the government is saying, no, we screen the passengers before they get on the plane. But if they get through there and they actually do have it, I think although airlines are in a tough position now, having to drop prices and change the way they fly, to be honest with you, I don't think if I knew that airlines were flying at full capacity, would I actually go flying? Because for me, it feels just like an unnecessary risk that I can avoid. What do you think?
The problem is that it's contagious before it shows symptoms. So, I mean, like even if someone, when they start coughing, they've probably already spread it to everyone else on the plane. It's sort of, there's no way to avoid it. And the only way you want to fly is if it's absolutely necessary.
I'm very aware, but it's also right about if someone, let's say you have it, Thomas, you sit in the back half of the plane and there's social distancing with rows apart, and I'm sitting at the front of the plane. Now we're talking 737-800 kind of plane, because that's what mainly flies in South Africa domestically. Then you may have coughed in the back, but it's less likely that about 20 rows in front of you, I would get it. It's possible, but it's less likely. Maybe for the people within a couple of rows that are with you, it is possible that they will get it from you. But it's definitely a new space and it is moving, so we'll have to just wait and see and how the situation unfolds in the future. South Africa's Comair placed themselves into voluntary business rescue last month. This was an attempt to give them financial protection for the future. Comair's business rescue practitioners have asked for more time to finalize their plan for the airline.
Comair, the operator of British Airways in Southern Africa, and LLC, Kalula.com, says that they are planning on cutting more than half of their fleet to assist them financially.
This is not good for Comair, since the 2 airline brands have been an amazing success story in the past.
In fact, Comair has the reputation of being the only airline in the world to continuously return a profit to its shareholders throughout its lifespan for more than 60 years. We are not yet sure whether Comair will cancel some of their existing orders for the 737 MAX 8, but it will definitely be interesting to see what the future holds for them.
As always, we will keep you updated on the story.
As most of you will already know, we're trying something new and it's called the weekly aviation Shoutout. We are attempting this to bring all aviation content creators together because there's a lot of great aviation content that doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. So go to the description and find our website. We have a Google form where you can nominate yourself or someone else for the weekly aviation shoutout. It will be a different person every week, but our first weekly aviation shoutout, we're going to be doing 2 actually, will be happening on June 16th, 2020. That is Tuesday, June 16th, 2020 on Youth Day. We'll be featuring a special episode with some of our guests, and they have been nominated for the weekly aviation shoutout. So pop below into the description and find the link and fill out your form so that you or someone else can get the weekly aviation shoutout.
This is an extension of the Aviators South Africa podcast. Find us on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor and more. Look in the description for the links. Also, please like and subscribe. Happy flying!
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Aviators South Africa. We'll see you next time on next week Sunday, 3 p.m. South African time. Please stay safe, stay home. Together we can beat the coronavirus. Hashtag Stay Home South Africa. To find out more about the coronavirus, visit sacoronavirus.co.za for more information. There is also a WhatsApp support number at 0600 123 456. That is 0600 123 456. Stay safe, South Africa.